Okay, so welcome to my channel. It's morning messages from Spirit. And this morning, it's like the floodgates have been open to me. I got up at 6 o'clock in this morning just with this immense peace. I've started this new thing where as soon as I get up in the morning, I go out with my coffee. I mean, when I'm pulled to do it, and just record the first thoughts that I have that come to me. And this morning I woke up with this total peace that overcame me, and just in this knowing, and messages have just been coming to me all morning. I've been writing them down, and it seems like they're coming to me more clear. Look, a bee just came right to me. There's a message. And this morning, it just seems like everything is coming to me with such clarity. Today's the 30th of December. And it seems to me, yesterday I went to the hot springs. There's hot springs here in the Yarmouk Valley over in the Jordan Valley. And it feels like every time I go there, there's just some kind of magic there. I feel like I'm drawn to go there, and it cleanses me. But there's so many messages that have come through to me this morning. So I'm just going to get started. I'm going to read them as they are. Some of them I'll give some insight to, and some of them I'll just pass on because they are self-explanatory. I take what resonates with you. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. So this is my morning messages from Spirit, and here we go. So in order, be with yourself and listen inward. That was the first thing that came to me this morning. Just be with yourself and listen inward. I have all the answers within me, and you can check within you. We each have all of the answers that we need in us, in our beings. There is nothing that you need to do, just to be in your nature and in the universe. Okay. There is nothing that you need to do, just to be in your nature. And the universe will listen and bring everything that you need into your life exactly in accordance to who you are. It can't be different than that. Make the home that you are, and it will fill. So as the way that this came to me is that the closer we are to our true natural selves, the world comes together with us. So if I'm putting my own natural self forward, naturally things that correspond with that will be brought into my life and fit in. And it can't be any different than that. So if I'm trying to put on some kind of face, then I'm going to attract people and things into my world that aren't, that are also putting on faces that aren't, that are exact to the face that I'm putting on. So then I'm attracting things into my world that aren't corresponding with my true nature, and it brings more of the same. So if I am living a false life, then I am attracting more falsity into my life. And if I am living an authentic life and being who I am, I will by nature attract those people and things that correspond with my true nature. And it can't be any different than that. So if I like being up on the mountain and recording messages, I will attract people into my life that are attracted to that. If I am putting on makeup and sitting in, putting on a fakey face, then I'm going to attract people that are attracted to that. So I might as well do what is true to me, and I will attract the right people and the right circumstances and the right things into my life, and the right things, places that I'm supposed to be. Like, I feel like making these videos is what I am supposed to be doing. And I mean, it's a way of putting myself out there. It doesn't specifically have to be videos. It could be books. It could be whatever it is, but it's my authentic self. And by putting my authentic self out there, I will attract back to me people that are attracted to this, to what I'm doing and who I am, and naturally, and then I get back what resonates well with me and not falsity. And even if I don't need mass, I need exact. So not everybody has to be drawn to it, but the people that are drawn to it are going to be the right people for me and in my life. Okay. In everything that you do, bring value. That was the message that I got this morning. Is when I bring something forth, bring it forth in value, and that would bring forth a value for the world. That way, I'm also fulfilling myself, and also it's like a self-check thing. It's like an ego check thing, that I'm not doing something for my ego, rather doing it to bring value into the world. And so I can check if I'm in the right place. Am I doing it for attention, or for just to for my ego, or am I doing it for the right reasons? And so that was another one. I am just a minute. I want to make sure that the frame is good. Yep. It's fine. I have this little reflecty thing that shows. I just wanted to make sure it was recording. When you are true to yourself, you attract the right people and things into your life exactly as you are. When you put on a face, you attract people and things who are also false. You attract what you are. It's exactly what I just said. Be strong in your knowing of who you are and move forward. You do not have to please anyone. Where you are, when you are whole with yourself, you do not need, and I know where this is going, outside approval. Be true to yourself. There is a value in who you are, otherwise you wouldn't be. I love that. Self-explanatory. Who you authentically are, there is value for that in the world. Otherwise, it wouldn't be. There can't be something that exists that doesn't have what to give. So it's so true. Bring the messages presentable. Okay, so this was something that came to me as so lately I've been doing a few videos that I was still in my pajamas and not dressed. Well, now I'm in my training pants, but that's because I hiked up here on the side of the mountain. When I'm done, I'll show you where I'm at. It's really cool. I'm sitting on the side of a cliff here, and I have the thing with my phone in it stuck into this wall here, so it's really cool. So so basically I said, here, a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. So the more I bring myself presentable, the better my messages come across, which is the point. I want my messages to get across. It's not about me. It's about the messages that are coming through me. And that is something that I see so clearly now. There's a beautiful bird, and it's flying like right here. I'm not going to turn it around. I've already realized that with this, with the camera phone, you can't really see, and it took a long time to get this in place, but it's like he's flying right here, face level with me, because I'm sitting on the side of this mountain. Okay, create. Okay, here's the message. Create. Express yourself and don't be afraid to shine. Create when you feel the urge to create. It is your soul wanting to express something. Hit the metal when it's hot. Create when you have the urge to create. I wrote that again because it came to me twice. So when you have the urge to create, just get out there and do it. Get out there and do it. Don't wait on it. Don't sit on it. I know that with my drawing. A lot of times I have like this vision of something that's coming through me that I want to draw or want to put out on paper or want to write, and I wait. Or like these messages, I write them down and then I wait. And when you wait, a lot of times the afterwards, when you try to channel the message, it doesn't come through exactly like it does when it's like hitting on the metal when it's hot. So that's pretty much self-explanatory. Meditate. It connects you to you and to the universe. So meditation, I've been meditating now for a few years, and I used to do it sporadically. Whenever I would feel like I need to meditate, I would say, okay, I'll meditate now, and it would call me in. And a friend of mine who is also a teacher of mine, I'm going to put in my Facebook, I'm going to add teachers, um, and you can also ask me. But he said, but why do you wait? If you want to create, be out there ahead of your life, and purposefully. And so that's something I really took, and ever since I've been meditating every day, and now it's just part of my being. I feel like, I mean, there's some days that I get up and I have to do things and it falls away, but for the most part, every day I meditate, and it connects me to myself, to my spirit. Sometimes even when I wake up crabby, after I meditate, it brings me back together. It connects body and soul and spirit. It connects me back to the universe and back to my center. And I get back into the place of knowing that everything is divine, that I am divine, and everything is perfect the way that it is. Okay. Take care and be in awareness of your body. Pay attention. Okay. Take care and be awareness of your body. So that is a message lately. A couple months ago, I went and did blood tests, and I was extremely anemic. So and I could tell that it was also when you're not taking care of your body and soul are connected, your body and spirit and mind. And I started going into like charadot. I don't know what it's called, but it's like when you start going like, yeah, you're disconnecting. And what I realized is that there's a healthy mind in a healthy body. Um, so I have been taking better care of my body, paying more attention, and I can see the difference. I do yoga once a week, and I feel like that really takes care of me. Um, and in doing yoga once a week and doing these hikes, I know that I'm taking care of myself. So also yoga helps you pay attention to your body. All of a sudden, when you bend over, you want to feel the pull. It's different. It's a real awareness. Yoga really makes you aware of your body. I'm not like a yoga freak. I do it once a week, and I pretty much feel like that safeguards me. It keeps me in awareness of my body, and now that I'm eating much more healthy. Um, I'm making sure to get a lot of greens into my diet. I have vegan, mostly vegan diet. I do eat some eggs, but only from the yard chickens that we actually are raising. So I have that. Pay attention to your words. They have energy in them and power. Watch what you think and say and do. Awareness. What else did I write here? Awareness. Internal. Oh, that's part of the next message. Okay. Okay. So it's basically just watch your words. A mantra that I've come up with for myself is, if you watch your thoughts, you don't have to watch your words. If you keep your thoughts pure, then your words will also be pure. If you keep your intentions pure, your words will also be pure. So it really is like freeing when you watch your mind and watch your thoughts and keep pure thoughts and thoughts of good and good wishes and good intentions in your mind, then your words follow your thoughts. So then it pretty much sets you free to say whatever you want, because you know that you're in your mind, you are pure, and so your thoughts are pure, your words are pure, your intentions are pure, and it sets you free. It sets you free. And when your thoughts are pure, it's like the saying, the truth will set you free. When you're always willing to improve yourself or admit when you're wrong, or when you keep your mind flexible, then you can say whatever you think, because you're not afraid of your words, um, of your words hurting anybody, or of saying something that you shouldn't have said. Because if you say something you shouldn't have said and you get the reflection back from the world, which is what usually happens, you're not afraid to adjust yourself. Ah, okay. So that, right, I shouldn't have said that, or what did I mean by that? So you start to learn to really watch your thoughts through your words. It's like a roundabout. Um, and that's something that is an ongoing process, and it always will be. We're always improving ourselves. So with that, the next one. Embrace your internal dragons, and they will become your strengths and friends. I'm adding. So something I'm in the middle of drawing a picture of I'm imagining like our internal dragons when we start doing self work and self awareness and fixing ourselves and correcting ourselves from inside. First of all, it sets us free, just like the one before us. It sets us free. Um, but the little things that are off in us, and it's most of these things happened or were set in early childhood beliefs that we started believing, or emotions that we didn't want to feel, so we build these like walls up against these emotions. So anytime anything comes in and touches these touchy feely places that we have in us, we lash out, or we have some kind of something that stops it from coming in. Either blame or hurt. Hurt is the same thing as blame. If you get hurt or offended by somebody else, it's something internal. I think that's in one of these messages, but it's something that is internal in us, and it's the same thing as blame. It's a mechanism to not let anything in and touch that spot. So we get offended or hurt, and it stops that from coming in, and then we don't have to do the internal work ourselves. So those are all places to look, and everybody has their own little twerks, that little mind games that we play with ourselves, so that we don't have to many times feel certain emotions that we don't want to feel. And these emotions, these reactions, were something that came to us in early childhood. We don't even know that we do it. It's like an addictive way of making sure that nothing gets in too far, of not being vulnerable, of not doing the self work. Okay. So that's our inner dragons. Oh, and our inner dragons become our strengths. So once we embrace these places and we're able to look into them and actually lachil means to embrace these places, or they become parts of us. And then they become our strengths, because we all have already conquered. I don't know if that's the right word, but it is kind of. We're able to deal with them internally. So we're able to see them in others as well. So when we overcome something, they become our strengths. And we are able to go into those places and feel our emotions to the fullest and experience life in everything that it has to offer. And we also we can also help others, because in places that we allow ourselves to go emotionally, or things that we have overcome ourselves, then we can go in deep with other people, and help them go through it, because we can see where they're at, go in there with them, and not have to suffer with them in the emotions. So we can actually, it's like going in and being able to just like pull people out of their own internal mush, if they're willing to do the work. We can't do work for anybody else. Everybody has to do their own internal work. That's why this spiritual path is so lonely, can be so lonely, because we have to we have to go in and deal with our own dragons. No, nobody else can deal with our. We're always looking for an out, always looking for someone else to, something to ease the pain. But in the end, you start embracing the pain because you see that by going through the pain, you get to overcome the pain, and then you get, see, the bird is going cheep, 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 because you get to overcome the pain. And there it goes again. I love it. I love it. I love it when you start paying attention to signs of the universe. It's just like that first, or one of the first messages that I said, when you become open to the universe becomes open to you. And whatever you are and you put out, the universe reflects back to you. So if you're being, oh, I'm so poor, I'm so this, I'm so that, those are the kind of people and the kind of circumstances you are going to create in your life. Now, all of the circumstances and everything, I mean, it's not like when you're like that there's not chirping birds. There are chirping birds, but it doesn't mean anything to you, because there's signs around you everywhere that reinforce wherever you are at. So, and here comes the wind to reinforce it. So it's basically, when you start looking for signs, there's signs everywhere. There is, because we all work by the same universal laws. The whole universe works by the same universal laws, including our being. So we can find the laws of the universe in ourselves, and we can find the laws of the universe in everything around us. So I just want to make sure that this is still recording. Yep. Okay, well, if you want, you should, you can get yourself a cup of coffee or something. We got quite a ways to go, so let's see. Embrace your internal dragons, and they will become your strengths. Okay, here, life is a comedy drama. Embrace and brace yourselves. It is. It's a comedy drama. Okay, so now it's comedy. Now it's a comedy, right? The bird is chirping or whatever. But there's also the drama. There's the drama. And you can't have one without the other, because in order to overcome something, you have to have what to overcome, right? In order to expand, there has to be what to expand from. And so all of these dramas are like push-off points for the self-healing. Okay. Use your mornings wisely. Channel yourself, meditate, or get into nature before you begin to mix your energy with the energy of others. You are pure to yourself. What I meant is that connect to yourself before you start mixing your energy with others, so that you can be in your own purity, of your own self purity, and know exactly where you're sitting before you start mixing. And then that leads into the next message. I just remember, choose your life partner wisely, because your energy will be mixed continuously. Because I was thinking, okay, so I wake up in the morning, and it's easy for me not to mix my energy, because I wake up by myself, either by myself or with my children. But when you have a life partner, you're waking up with somebody next to you. And so your energies are mixing. And I was thinking about my marriage. I was always out of sync with myself, because I was out of sync with my life partner. My life partner and I weren't a good match. Now I know the reasons. I mean, it's kind of a paradox, because there's so many lessons that I got in that marriage, and it couldn't have been any different. And we have the most wonderful, spectacular children that are a good mix, and they have lots of strengths, and anyway, so I know why my life partner and I came together, and I've kind of come to peace with all of the years that we were together. But and also this has put me into a place where I know what I want. I know what I want in my next life partner, and that here comes the bee. See, and I know what I want, and it has really pinpointed my life for me, and allowed me to do a lot of self work, and 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 being able to channel these messages purely through me and write them down and call them what they are is all part of that. So I feel like it was a massive blessing. But in this message, what I'm saying is you when you have a life partner next to you and it's not the best match, then you're always out of sync with yourself. You're always and it is very, because your energy is always mixing with this person. And I see two birds flying together. They're always, it's always like a couple. I guess it's like the yin and yang. I'm talking about a life partner, and I see two birds flying across. It's just all symbolic. And again, I go back to, you see what you look for, you see where you're at. Everything is so exact. This universe is so exact. And there is choice in everything, but I'm also finding more and more that everything happens for a reason and a purpose. And it makes me wonder, like, if there really is choice. So it's kind of like a paradox. Choosing my thoughts and choosing and watching my thoughts, but is that really a choice that I had? Because it seems like everything that I've done in my life up till now, I would have made the exact same choices, having the exact same life experiences every single time. It would have led me to this point right here where I'm sitting talking to my phone camera and channeling these messages. So everything led to this point, and always, everything has always led to any point that I'm at. There's an airplane flying over. Okay, so here's the next one. Wait. Love yourself regardless. This is all a journey and expansion. Okay. Love yourself regardless. This is all a journey, and expansion requires expansion. So, what I meant by what I meant, it's not me, but what I wrote down, I know what I wrote down. It's something that's coming through me, and so I know what I meant when I wrote it, is that any point that you're at is an exact, and you are better than you were. In order to expand, you have to have a point from which to expand from. And so you can't be ahead of yourself. You can't be in the future when you're at this point. This point is an expansion of my previous expansion. And my next point is going to be an expansion of this place. And another thing that I'm getting is so a lot of times I'll look back at messages that I got or things that I wrote a few years ago. I'll say, oh, that's so Neanderthal. But the truth is that in order for me to have gotten to this spot, I had to have expanded from there. And that point was an expansion of where I was before that. And that every message that I have, I am at a point that I have value to give to people that need these messages exactly. And the place that I was 5 years ago is an expansion point for people that need those messages. These messages won't speak to them in the place that they are now if what I said 5 years ago speaks to them. So it's like you can't jump ahead of yourself before you get there. And that's a lesson that I'm always learning. So even when I look backwards and I say, oh, that's Neanderthal, there's no shame in it. That's where I was. And the messages that I was when I was there are exact for the people that need those messages. So being a recovered or recovering or whatever you want to call it, alcoholic, having overcome addiction, my addiction to alcohol, or being a drinkless alcoholic. I don't even know what you want to call it, whatever. Um, I sat down like 3 years after I went through. Now it's been about 9 years. It's been a little over 9 years since I've had any alcohol. And so when I was about 3 years over it, I sat down and I wrote out what goes on in the mind of an alcoholic. And that's another video that I have already decided that I'm going to do at some point. So it's coming, and I'm also going to publish what I wrote. And I wrote it, and I haven't read it in years. So about a month ago, in this whole process of starting the videos and starting to bring out my writing and everything, it just feels like it's just been like a opening. All of a sudden, I've just opened up. And so I went in and I started to read it, and I was like, oh, it was, oh. And I realized that I wrote what the thought processes of an alcoholic is, and it's for any kind of addiction. I see it as that, addiction is addiction. And so it's these thought loops that you get into that you think over and over and over, and it really holds you in place, And so I was looking at that, and I was thinking, I could have never written that today. I could have never. I'm so far away from that I wouldn't have even been able to connect to it, to write it. I was thinking, as a mazal, like, what luck that I sat down and took the time and wrote it out when I did, because it will connect to alcoholics that are in the place of being an alcoholic, and I could never write it today. And I'm thinking the same thing of these videos that I'm doing now. What luck that I'm sitting down and these things are what is coming through me now in the place that I'm at for my own expansion, because I know that 10 years down the line, these same things won't be channeling this. I'll be channeling other things that are relevant to where I will be on my path then. And so I realize that there is value in everything. So I'm bringing my value. And we are always better than we were. So there is no place that we arrive to. There is no place that we arrive to that we are done. So we're never done. It's the same thing I just said. We're never done. It's a constant expansion, just like the universe is constant evolution. And so are we. We are allowed to change our opinions or admit that we were wrong. This is expansion. We are free to choose and free to change our minds at any point in life. It is our life. We are free to change our minds. I mean, if we're expanding, we're going to be proving ourselves wrong again and again and again and again. If our whole life outlook is to be right, then we'll never change, because we'll be afraid to admit that we were wrong in the past. And then we'll never get anywhere. So I'm going to try to run through these, because I don't know how many pages there are left. There are external forces of nature working with you and through you. Allow them to flow, and all things will fall into place, including love, relationships, abundance, and health. Self-explanatory. Abundance is an energy, and it flows like a river. You can tap into that river. It is a give and take. It works both ways, like an open hand. It gives and receives. So that's something that came to me, and I just understand it so perfectly clear. When you have an open hand, you also give, and you also are able to receive. If your hand is closed, you're not giving, you also cannot receive. And it's like a river. You can't just flow in. If you just take food in, you're going to get, you can't just take knowledge in without giving knowledge. The more knowledge you give, the more knowledge you get. You take in, you can't take in more than you give. It's like a flow. And so you learn how to expand the flow. So the more you get, the more you give, the more you give, the more you get. And it's like this river that you expand in yourself. So you can have this little tiny river. Um, and I'm understanding this as I'm explaining it. So this is wonderful for me. It's messages for me. So the more you allow to flow through you, the more you get back. So this is with anything in life, with money, with power, with creation. The more you create, the more the creation flow goes through you. The more messages that you allow to channel through you, the more you get back. The more you have to give. The more I connect to my spirit and allow these messages to come through clearly, the more it feels so good. And then the more messages come. It's amazing how it works like that. And you can see it working like that throughout the universe. It's with everything. So I'm grateful for that message. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. The more grateful I am, the more I have to be grateful for. Thank you. So these messages are coming through me. Just as I am giving them to you, I am also getting them for myself. And sometimes it's very overwhelming, and I feel overcome with just being so blessed to be able to do this. And you can too. You can too. It's not it's not just mine. It's everyone's. Oh. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. I'm sitting in the most beautiful place. I'm going to show you when I'm done. You have something to look forward to. Oh. Oh. Okay. Okay, here's the next message. I am so grateful for all of the gifts that I have been given and that I continue to get to give. Isn't that just so? That's hilarious. It's exactly what just happened. That is so funny. I am so grateful for all of the gifts that I have been given and that I continue to get to give. Gratitude. Here we go. Gratitude. I want to make sure it's still recording. Yep. I emptied my phone off this morning onto the computer so that I would have plenty of room. So gratitude. The more grateful I am for the things that I have in my life, the more that I have to be grateful for. Sheesh. And here goes the plane. Okay, that one's self-explanatory. Be exact with myself. Allow people and things that aren't in sync with me to fall out of my life naturally. Pay attention to how I feel by allowing things that are not exact to fall out. Things that are more exact will come in. I do not need to hold on to anything. I am never alone. I have myself and the universe supports me. I love that. I love that. Thank you for that. Continue to give of myself. I have myself in abundance. And the more I give of my nature, the more I connect to myself. I love that one too. It's all the same. It's all of the same. Okay. If you feel like you're hurt by someone else, it is the same as blame. If the hurt is in you, it is yours. Now, I already talked about this one before, so just like when you have a wound that hurts, no one else feels it. It is yours to heal. Blame outwardly stops your spirit's expansion. So if you're blaming somebody, you're not taking responsibility for it, and you're not doing self-work. So you're stopping your own expansion from happening. You're like, okay, I don't need to fix this. I'm hurt. It's your fault. You need to fix you. And then you are also giving away your control. It's like you don't even have control over your own life. So what? So you're stopping your own expansion. If you stop for a minute and say, nobody outside of me is responsible for how I feel, then nothing can move you from your center. So even if somebody is, there's this one. If somebody comes and tells you you're stupid and you believe that you're stupid, then you're going to get hurt. If you are 100% sure that you're not stupid and somebody comes along and says, hey, you're stupid, it's just going to fly right over your head. You're not going to take it personally and you're not going to be hurt by it. So it's the same thing with anything. If you're hurt by something that somebody says to you, it's because part of you believes it. It's like, oh, they saw me. Oh, no. So you need to check yourself for, wait a minute, do I need to be hurt by this experience? So let's say that you fall in love with somebody, or you're really in love with somebody, or you really like somebody and they don't like you back. You need to check within yourself. So wait a minute, do I want people? Am I willing to be in a situation where I like somebody and they don't like me, so I'm taking it personally? Why? That just means that it's not exact. It's not meant to be. So when you feel fully worthy of getting love back in the same amount that you have to give it, then it won't hurt you. It'll just be like, oh, okay, so that's not it. Or it won't affect you. Okay, so that is that. Okay, wait. Okay, no one else can feel it. It is yours to heal. Blame outwardly stops your spirit's expansion and keeps you in pain. You are not fixing it, rather putting it on someone else. Therefore, the wound remains. So until you are willing to go in and fix it, you're always going to be hurt in that spot. Until you're willing to feel the pain and go through it and see what it means and fix it within yourself, because we are divine beings. We are exact. We are perfect. And even in our imperfectness, there's always expansion. There's always, we are in a human form. We knowingly only use 10% of our brains. So we know that we can't know everything. We can live our entire life and not know everything. Even a doctor could never know everything that there is to know about the human body. That was the way. There is a neurosurgeon, and there is gynecologist, and there's so much knowledge in the world. You could never know anything. So the thinking that we are all knowing is really ignorant, super ignorant. So what basically what it's saying here is that if we are blaming somebody else, or we are getting our feelings hurt, which is the same thing as blaming somebody else, then we're not doing the internal work. And then that is going to be a sticking point for us always until we do the internal work on that spot. And then we can pass over it. And then we become like the dragon I said before. Okay. Get into the moment. There is a natural flow that occurs when you are in the moment. More gets done and gets done better. So something I also realized with myself, when I get into weekend mode, like, okay, I don't have to do things. I get into the moment, and I get into this flow where everything just seems to get done, and everything that seems to get done gets done way better, and I get way more done than during the week. When during the week I'm always like, oh, what I need to do stuff. I need to do, there's this and there's that and there's this and there's that, and I start getting flustered and I start, and then it's like going out of control, and then I run away, or I can't do it, or the things that I do under pressure. Everything that needs to be done, or everything that we do, I shouldn't say needs to be done, because I always say need to do laundry, but somehow there's been many times in my life that I didn't do laundry, and somehow I got to this point where I got past it, and it didn't, it's not like life or death, there's goats on the other side of this valley that I'm sitting. And I love that because it reminds me of my childhood. It reminds me of really fond memories in my childhood when we lived in this cabin in Arkansas, and we raised goats, and I got to milk them every morning. So since the goats have been here, I kind of watch them and they're on the other side, and it's just so cool. Okay. Learn to be with yourself. Dare to open your own personal Pandora box, and your own inner beauty will unfold for you. You hold the keys to yourself. I love that. It's just learn to be with yourself. Learn to sit with yourself without looking for external powers to give you relief, or external powers to tell you who you are. Even when you're going through pain, especially when you're going through pain, don't try to look for others to solve your pain for you. Just sit in it. Sit in it. Sit with yourself. Do the internal work. You can never run away from yourself, and nobody else can come into you and do the work for you. So just learn to be with yourself. The quicker you learn how to be with yourself and to go through and do your own internal work, the quicker it gets done, and the easier everything becomes, and the quicker you find peace. So just learn to sit in it. Just sit in it. Sit in it. Sit in it. That's something this morning it came to me. I don't want to run around. I don't want to go and do things. I just want to sit for a while. Just sit with myself. Here I'm by myself on the side of the mountains. Well, I'm not really by myself. Lola and Rex here with me, but they can't get to exactly where I am because I climbed down into this little place. I'll show you in a minute. Your biggest gifts come in disguise. Learn how to recognize them. Learning how to recognize them is the gift in itself. So your biggest gifts a lot of times come in disguise, like my alcoholism or my very long marriage, or the hardest things that we go through are the biggest gifts when we go through them. When we come out the other side of them, we realize these are our dragons. These are our biggest gifts that we have gotten, and it expands us the most, and then we have the most to give. And learning how to recognize them is the gift in itself. So when we come through the pain of what, and when we overcome these things, then, and we are able to recognize them and see, because when you're going through it, you have to go through it. You can't be over it before you're in it. So you can't be over it while you're in it, is what I should say. Well, a lot of times we try, we go through life kind of living life on the side of life and not really living life. It's not really experiencing it, kind of closing it off in a box. Okay, I don't want to feel all those emotions, so I'm going to sit over here on the side, and life just passes me up, and I'm not truly experiencing life. I'm not allowing myself to feel the emotions. But when you start feeling the emotions, you can't be over it before you're over it. You can't overcome it while you're in it. And you can't see the divinity. You can trust that there is a divine power and reason in everything, but you can't be over it before you're over it. So it's kind of like you have to allow yourself to go through all the pain. And then as you start to see the reasons behind things, that's the gift in itself. So when you recognize them, you get the gift. You have to be willing to go through it in order to receive it. You get the gift by accepting it in all of its parts. And that is the only way to receive it. So it's basically what I just said. Watch your emotions and trust your intuitions. So trust your intuitions. That's a big one. That's a big one. That is a massive one, because our intuitions sometimes are we have intuitions, and we have to really learn how to trust our intuitions, and also, but also watch our intuitions, because a lot of times fear seeps in, and fear is a tricky one, because fear is there to protect you, but it also can hinder you from your expansion. So a lot of times we have fear of the unknown. It doesn't mean that we don't need to go into the unknown in order to expand. We have to go into the unknown. So there's always fear. Um, and sometimes we have these beliefs that we have created in ourselves in our early childhood. We believe certain things, and they're false. So we need to check our beliefs and check, wait a minute, what is this fear based on? Is it true? Is it not true? And fear is a bubble. Once you like pass through the fear, it's like, boom. It's like the first video that I made. The first time I went and made a video, I'm sitting in between rocks, but first time I made a video, I went and sat, here comes B. I went and sat in between these rocks so nobody would hear me because I might make a mistake, blah, 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 blah. And now it's just like, on the fly, I trust. So I pushed through the fear of it, and the embarrassment and the shyness, and I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not good enough. I'm gonna make a fool out of myself. Blah 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 blah. And once I went through the bubble, it just went boom, and then it's just like, oh, I love making videos. All of a sudden, I just love being in front of the camera. It seems like that's all I really want to do nowadays. So watch your emotions and trust your intuitions. Give credit where credit's due, and you will receive more credits to give. The gift of giving. I love that. And that's self-explanatory. I'm not going to go into that. And I'm talking a lot. There is a natural selection process in life when you clear yourself from all of society's consensuses, the consensuses of society, of how you are supposed to be, and you allow yourself to be of your own true nature. By nature, you will attract everything that is accurate for you, and all else will fall away. It cannot be different than that. It is impossible. Everything is exact. So that's kind of I think I've already explained that in this video. So next one. By saying things aloud, you make them real in your life. You let the universe and yourself know what it is that you want. So by saying things aloud, you make them true, and you make them more real for you. So by me actually coming out, I think it was even just last week, it seems like it's been eons ago, by me coming out and saying, okay, I'm channeling messages. This is what it is. I've known this for years, and I've never been able to say it out loud. But now, ever since I just said it out loud, it's like pulling off a Band-Aid. It's like, of course. And it's out in the open, and that is what it is. And it's so true, and it feels so natural, and it's the most natural thing. And I think that being afraid of it, or trying to be, oh, who am I? Like making myself smaller than I am. It's a word that I can't. Sanua. That's a word that I still can't find in English. I also lost it in a different video that I was making, and now I'm losing it again. But it's a word in English. It means like I'm trying to be bashful or shy about it. But that's also the ego. Because if these messages need to be coming through me, and it's my value to give to the world, until I don't give this a value, I am not fulfilling myself. So it is up to me to fulfill myself. And by being able to call it what it is and say it outright, it feels so natural. I'm in the right place. I'm giving my value to the world. And the world is in acceptance of that. And if there are people that aren't in acceptance of that, or it seems crazy to them, well, that's them. It's not me. It's then it's not a right fit. We're going back to the right fit thing. So by me putting myself out there exactly as I am, and how I think, and what is coming through me, I am pulling towards me the exact fits. So it's like a natural selection. When you do what it is that comes most natural to you, all else comes into place around you like magic. The path appears before you and the answers come to you. You must first step in the direction and allow yourself to bring yourself. It's the same thing. I love that. You can achieve what you believe that you can achieve. If you believe it, you can achieve it. And another thing adding on to that is that you cannot imagine something that isn't is. So where there's a question, there's an answer. So it is. We are among the lucky ones. We are undergoing a spiritual awakening together and apart from each other, a paradox of sorts. We each have our own journey, but we reflect back to one another and then inwards again. You pass through. It gains speed until it arrives at the pin of the needle, and then the spiral reverses as you settle back into your higher self, the seat of the royal being that you are, your righteous throne, in all your glory and in love. It is all exact and exactly as it should be always. Nothing can touch you. But nothing can touch you. I mean, like in the same, we're going back to the blame. Like when you are sitting on your royal throne, your inner royal throne, any outside forces, people that come and say, hey, this or that, you're not moved by it. You're sitting on your throne. You don't move. Relax. It is all happening to you, for you. You are not the doer. You are the perceiver. You're not the doer. It's happening to you. It's just like it's happening to me. It's this is all part of a divine plan. Me sitting exactly where I am right now, it's all of a part of a divine plan. It's all being done to me. I might think that I'm doing something, but I'm not. It's all, the goats over there on the other side of the mountain and the bee that just flew in my face. This is all part of the divine plan and couldn't be any other way. You are the only one who can truly fulfill yourself. You are also the only one who can truly know. Okay, no, it started out, you are the only one who can truly fulfill yourself and your dreams. You are also the only one who can truly know what they are. Therefore, it is true. Nobody else is inside of you. Nobody else knows exactly what it entails to fulfill you. Nobody else knows exactly what your gifts to give the world are. You're the only one, just like I'm the only one. I'm the only one that can be sitting here saying, okay, these are messages that are coming through me that I need to give to the world. I'm the only one. Nobody else can come into me and say, okay, now you give this message and not that message and this message. And it can't be done. So you are responsible for yourself. So in one aspect, that's pretty scary. Like, what? I'm gonna have to get this all figured out by myself. That's like scary. But on the other hand, it is so empowering. It is so empowering to know that you're in charge. You're the one. You get to give the gift. I love that. Okay. There are people in this world that I will always love much, much more than I can ever be mad at. Even if I go aside and pout for a while, I will always come back. So it's kind of like there are people in this world that I'm going to leave it at that. Okay. I trust that all is exact. I trust that there is always a higher purpose and meaning. I trust that it flows through me always and exact. I trust. I trust the universe. I can see it up till now in my life that everything has always been exact, even if I didn't understand it while I was going through it. And even if it was painful, once I went through it, I can look back and say, wow, I know the higher purpose of that. There was a higher purpose and there was a reason that that happened like it happened always. And so I trust that whatever I'm going through, while I'm going through it, I trust that in the end, if I allow myself to go through it and I endure it, um, I trust that that higher meaning and purpose will present itself to me, and I will know it in the end, and that it is all for a purpose, and that gives me strength to go through it a lot of times and to really feel the pain, because there's been times that it has been so painful. I thought I can't go through this anymore. It's too painful. And then I remember that look how far I've come. Look how far I've come. Look at the things that I've overcome, and the things that I've come through, and come through that much stronger on the other side. It's all for purpose, and I'm actually blessed for the things that are the hardest to go through are the biggest blessings in disguise. Look at these beautiful little little dry flowers. Everything serves a purpose, otherwise it could not and would not exist. There's something to learn in all things. If you feel like you are slipping, all that you have to do is look back and see how far you've come. See, it's the same thing I just said. Okay. I think this is the end of it. And I love this one. This one came to me while I was climbing up the mountain. Being vulnerable is one of the most attractive traits. Not wimpy, vulnerable. Vulnerable is a feature of strength. He who is vulnerable is willing to be truthful and is looking for expansion. Therefore, it is strength. He is not afraid of showing his weakness because it does not threaten his strength. It rather shows his readiness to improve himself. A vulnerable man is extremely attractive. There's a personal note in there. I think a vulnerable man, a man that is vulnerable, is one of the most, like, one of the most attractive things that there is. Somebody that is willing to show their weaknesses means that they are strong, that it doesn't, if you're showing your weakness, it means that you're strong enough to know that it doesn't take away from you. A vulnerable man is extremely attractive and does not mean weakness, rather the opposite. So it's all the same. And that is that. Look at that. Look at that. Those are the morning messages for this morning. This morning, it has just been coming through me. So I am going to pick this up and I am going to show you where I'm at. So the dogs have been coming up there. That's behind me. I'm going to, wait. And I'm going to turn it around so you can see the birds are up there chirping. And this is where I am. See, I'm sitting right on this ledge. Down here below me is Nahal Amud. There's down there is I'm not going to get too close to the edge just because I really like myself and this human experience. Up there in the distance, you can see Tzfat with the sun shining on it. And down there is the path, and the goats are up there on the other side. I can't zoom. I was trying to zoom, and this is where I am. And right on the edge of this there are olive trees growing, and there's Lola the faithful, and up there you can see Rexy's also the faithful. My dogs are so good. They absolutely love me, and I love them, and I think that is why they're so faithful, because they love these trips. They love these trips. So that is my morning messages to you from Spirit. And if you, I'm not even gonna say if you, I'm gonna say subscribe, so that you can get more morning messages and be with me. So I love this. Okay, that's it.